Hello and welcome to the most must-hear podcast in the world of rock. Join hosts Charlotte, Joe and Max as they run down the latest news and their favorite bands. Ladies and gentlemen, the Overtone podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Overtone podcast. I'm Joe, joined by Max today. And a little later on, we're going to be discussing the Grammys and the American Music Awards and all that wonderful, wonderful stuff for the rock and metal community. But for now, we're just going to jump right into the news because there's quite a bit of juicy stuff on this week.
Being not only British, but about 20 minutes away from Donington Park, I guess we have to report on the news that, Download have announced their 20th anniversary lineup, or at least
But that 20th lineup must be just of it being Download, right?
Yes, I think so.
Because it used to be what was it called?
Monsters Rock.
Monster Rock, and then something that's very heavy that we won't mention happened, and that all blew up. But 20th year.
Yeah.
Download.
Okay, so first of all, headliners, Metallica, Bring Me the Horizon, Metallica, and Slipknot.
Yeah.
I do think it's a bit odd that Metallica did the first year and the 10th year and the 20th year.
I think it's cute. I do think it's cute, like that constant sort of throwback almost. But at the same time, the thing that really angers me is the fact they're doing two sets, one on the Thursday, one on the Saturday.
I agree.
Like, sure, there are no songs repeated.
I think they have enough of a back catalogue to do however long that'll be, 4 odd hours.
Oh God, yeah.
But at the same time, I've seen a lot of people saying that the only reason that the festival is 4 days is because Metallica wouldn't do just the one night.
Yeah.
Which
I think
they were going to do because they've been doing a few US festivals, I think.
But if that is true, I do have issues with that personally.
I'm kind of on the fence because, like, I agree, but also at least that means another, probably 40 bands get on the bill.
Yeah, no. I think that's great, but I think it's like you're telling me there's enough bands that they can bring to it that they can do a whole extra day. Sick. But then if Metallica is like, we're only doing this if we get 2 days, it's so dumb. I'd say if that is true, I'd bin them off personally.
Yeah.
Not like don't go see them. Please go see them. They are
100%.
really good live. But I'd bin them off, bring them onto the festival. You've got like, right. So what we haven't mentioned yet is only like big bands that are also there but aren't headlining. You got Alex is on Fire, or as I read it as a kid, Alexis on Fire.
That's how I used to read it as well.
Yeah, and then I got told it's not Alexis on Fire, and it really upset me.
Yeah, it's
but then you've got
than that.
Yeah, you've got Architects, you've got the Distillers, Disturbed, Evanescence, Ghost, I Prevail, Parkway Drive, Pendulum, who are really fun live. Placebo, Simple Plan. I assume Black Veil Brides.
I think it's what's his name from him?
Really?
Bill.
I'm just trying to suss out the it's only the symbol.
I can never remember what they call it, but that's the hymn symbol that they used to do. At least the heart is.
Fair enough. It might be them then, and then Within Temptation.
See, my thing is, right, out of those, 12 names?
Yeah.
You've probably
15.
got
13, I can't count.
1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 or 6 bands that probably could have headlined the Thursday.
Disturbed easily could have. Architects could have. Evanescence, Ghost. Don't know about I Prevail. I would love to see them headline. Don't know.
It'd be a good show.
Parkway, although at the same time, from my personal experience recently with Parkway, I'm kind of glad they're not headlining.
Mm.
They're fun. They were good. Fire's fun. Their guitarist is phenomenal as always.
Mm.
But the multiple costume changes during their set, and then they played like only songs off their latest album, apart from like The Void. He played The
Really?
Void. And it's like, right, I know they're never gonna play it. I think it was called Deep Blue, that
Mm.
album. I know they're never gonna play it, but damn would I love it.
It was the same with Architects though with Biffy the other week.
Yeah, it's
I
just
think they did an hour set. One of the songs that they played wasn't off the last two albums that have come out in the last 2 years. Like the other
but
nine, 10 were.
which one was it that you said that was?
I want to say Doomsday, maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Like great track and
Phenomenal track. I
most
love
of the
that
tracks
album.
they played were amazing. But it would have been nice to have just seen something else. Holy Hell was massively well received when it came out. It pushed them to doing Ali Pally and all this kind of stuff, but then they don't seem to give it any love live. And I don't know whether that was just because they were supporting Biffy and they kind of wanted to do more of the lighter stuff.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think that is quite potentially it. I don't know. But no, like there's so many bands in there that could have done the Thursday. It's a little disappointing to see. But even then, it's a very good lineup. Yeah, you've got Asking Alexandria. I know they're not everyone's favorite, but they are fun to watch.
Yeah. See, the undercard for me was a bit weird because there was quite a lot of bands that I'd never heard of before.
Yeah. No, there are a few that I had to look into. You got Fever 333, which I'm interested in.
Yeah. I've heard they're on a hiatus until spring now. At least live.
Yeah. But then you have Lorna Shore, which if you go to it, oh my god, they are amazing live. Nothing Nowhere, really, really worth listening to. You got Monuments, who are good fun. You got Motionless in White, who I shouldn't even need to say how good they are.
Yeah, their new album's phenomenal.
You got Polaris. I adore Polaris. One of my favorite quotes is actually a song title of them. It's Insomnus Veritas, which is Latin for like truth and sleep.
Oh, sweet.
So it's a very good song, that one. You got 3 Days Grace.
Yeah.
They're amazing. It's a very good lineup.
Yeah.
But I am a little disappointed at Metallica doing 2 days. But I don't know. Bring Me will probably be odd, but that's just Bring Me.
Yeah. Like, I'm not even that big of a fan, but the show they are putting on these days, like, I saw the videos from Lisa Redding and all that kind of stuff, and I'd happily watch it.
Oh, yeah. Slipknot, it's Slipknot. It's going to be sick.
Yeah. And they've still, they'll have another, 80-odd bands to announce. I imagine they've still got a few bigger names to put on there that, like Alter Bridge, who are still currently on tour in the UK and stuff like that.
Yeah, although with the price, I don't think I'm going to fork it out.
No, it is
if they
a little insane.
If they add the band I'm not allowed to mention.
Yes, Bleep.
Bleeped. Redacted name. I will go see them. I will go to it. Because I am one of those people with the bad habit of, if there is a band I really, really like at a festival, I will go see them, preferentially. But there are a lot on there that I think it's good fun to me. Of like, one of my mates actually got into the Redacted band purely because they were at a festival they were at and decided to just go watch them for a bit. Really enjoyed it, and I think that's the beauty of festivals.
Oh, 100%. I've found a good few bands that I'd never listened to, especially at smaller festivals as well, but also at Download and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That I
I think the
still
only
listen to this day.
Yeah, I think the only balancing act is trying to get time because
Oh, yeah.
Jesus, there's a lot.
Yeah, I like what festivals are doing these days, most of them now actually, where they'll kind of alternate the two main stages.
Yeah.
And I think Download struggles a little bit because they can't just dump them next to each other like Hellfest and all these other places can do. But they still try their best. I think there's only usually like a 10-minute overlap these days.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Download, which is owned by, or rather like sort of organized by Live Nation, Ticketmaster's been in the news.
Yeah, not for very good reasons either, really.
No, not quite.
So obviously, I mean, a lot of people hate Ticketmaster for years now, and
Yeah.
for reasonably good reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been in the headline quite a lot for this Taylor Swift tour. The tickets just went on sale for the other day in the US,
Yeah.
and the site went down for I think a couple of hours, right?
Yeah, sort of trapping people in
Yeah,
this thing of not knowing whether they've actually secured
exactly.
any
Yeah, I think they
tickets.
were kind of stuck in a queue and couldn't get tickets and all this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, all the tout sites were putting tickets up.
Well, yeah, you had all like the resellers to maybe give them a nicer name than they deserve. Uh Trying to sell tickets as soon as like everyone found. I mean, obviously they were already going to,
Yes.
but putting them to astronomical prices whilst the Ticketmaster site was down. Like there's one that sort of gained a bit of infamy now of being resold for $56,000,
I saw that.
which is
Insane.
insanity. If anyone bought that, they just shouldn't have that money.
No, I agree. I will take at least half of it. And
You take half, I'll take the other half.
And me and you can perform Taylor Swift songs at them.
Yeah. I will learn every Taylor Swift song for
Yeah.
56K. I mean, well, 28K.
Well, exactly. I'd settle for 1K.
Yeah.
Here we
To be
go.
honest, I could use that money at the moment.
Yeah.
I got stuff to buy. I got Christmas presents. I got uni.
Yeah, tell me about it.
But yeah, so I mean, right. I don't think I have the popular opinion on this, which seems to be a reoccurring theme whenever we record that I somewhat play devil's advocate.
Totally opposing view.
Hey, it's useful. Okay, so I'm not trying to shift all blame off Ticketmaster, right? Like they must have known how big this was going to be.
Yes.
You know,
100%.
like even I knew, and I don't listen to Taylor Swift. Like my Twitter over the last few days, because I follow a lot of music stuff on it, has just been like always overshadowed by the Taylor Swift concerts. So I think yes, there is an issue there, and then also part of the issue that we haven't mentioned is they allow for flexible pricing.
Yeah, which also got to insane numbers. I've got here in front of me $4,500.
Yes, so my understanding of the flexible pricing, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that if demand is high enough, they can increase price. Same with if there's limited tickets left.
Yeah.
Which obviously for something like this, where there's so many people wanting it that it crashes their site.
And also massively overinflates the price.
It will massively overinflate the price. And I think the issue there is you can't just blame Ticketmaster for it. I'm not saying we should have a go at T Swift. I do not want all of her fans trying to track me down and kill me.
Yeah, they've already had a go at M Shadows in the last month. I don't think they can have any more hatred towards metal stuff.
when you do your ticketing via Ticketmaster, you can say you want flexible pricing. You can have that pricing to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am not saying this is Taylor Swift herself. We do not know who ticked this box as it is. But someone did. Someone said yes to it. So there is at least some blame on it in Taylor Swift's camp. Like if you agree to have a flexible pricing dependent on demand, which gives you more money, that means you are culpable to any blame or animosity towards it.
True.
I think the unfortunate thing here is a lot of bands probably do it just because the Taylor Swift concert was in such high demand. It's really sort of blown up there.
Yeah. I mean, heck, I'm pretty sure Def Leppard were doing it over here. Just
I'm certain they were.
Ago.
What it's why I get my tickets so early, like with Redacted Band.
Yeah.
Like I literally got them half an hour after they announced it was live. Like half an hour after they announced the tour.
Yeah, exactly.
And the only reason I didn't get them any sooner was I was at work. And I was still at work when I bought those tickets, but
Yeah, I've done the same with Ice My Kills.
Yeah, it was important.
Yeah.
But it's one of those of I do think it is scummy, Ticketmaster allowing that as an option.
Yeah.
Because Ticketmaster makes money. They make a lot of money.
Yes, insane amounts.
And as we've mentioned, they own Ticketmaster or Live Nation even.
Yes, I think they merged
Ticketmaster owns Ticketmaster
into one. Disgusting, horrible corporate blob.
I believe it was like 2010. I was actually reading about it recently because the FCC or the FTC, it must be the FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission.
Yeah.
If you do not know your American governmentational departments, they're actually investigating that merger because it's, at least in their opinion, and I agree, it's created a monopoly.
Oh, 100%. You look at even just over here, 95% of arena shows and bigger, you can only get through Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
I've been to a couple of arena shows just this month. If I didn't give money to Ticketmaster, I wasn't going to.
Yeah.
And it's horrible, but it's the only choice we have.
But yeah, like you said, it's the only option we have, which sucks. But it's kind of what we have to deal with. But then, like I've said, yes, Ticketmaster deserves 99.8% of the blame.
Yeah.
0.1% is on Taylor Swift camp, and 0.1% is on the fact that websites aren't indestructible. Bandwidth is a thing.
True.
Funnily enough, if I can't have like 20 of my mates on my Minecraft server without it starting to brick itself, Ticketmaster can't have 500 billion people on their site. I may be exaggerating the numbers there, but
everyone's a Swiftie.
Everyone's a Swiftie. People that haven't been born yet are a Swiftie.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's like what was that's the Justin Bieber quote. I'm sure if they were all alive today, they would have been a Swiftie.
True.
But it's like, I think, yes, there should have been some foreplanning on Ticketmaster's behalf. But it is kind of like, what are they supposed to do about it when everyone's getting angry the site crashed?
Exactly.
Like, are you telling me when like a band drops merch and the site crashes because everyone's trying to buy this limited run merch, you don't have a go at the band, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you get it, everyone wants this merch. Sure, you will be annoyed if you can't get it because the site crashed, but it is what it is. It sucks that the site crashed, but I don't think you can just fully blame Ticketmaster for that.
No. And I, like, as much as I don't, again, want to call anyone individually out or anything like that, like, it's getting to a point where prices are getting so insane for some of these shows that people are still paying for. Like,
Yeah.
at least a little bit of the blame is going to have to go on the public at some point for still putting up with this crap.
Oh no, completely. I
You
100%
can't
agree.
pay $3-4 grand for a ticket and then complain that you paid $3-4 grand for a ticket.
Yeah, well, it's like I was recently at a charity auction, and someone paid 10 grand for 4 P2K tickets, which then obviously sparked up a conversation of like how much people are willing to pay for people they want to see.
Yeah, exactly.
And from the musical side, I love it. Just that sheer desire to give that person money is amazing.
Oh, 100%.
But as with everything, there is a caveat. One, you screw yourself and everyone else over.
Mm-hmm.
If you are spending that money willingly, you are an idiot. Dude, invest. I don't know, make a 401k or whatever people do.
Yeah, all the adult things.
Don't put your money in that. Put a down payment on a house or something.
Exactly.
Because when you do that, you drive up the price. Yes, mainly for that show. But you know what Ticketmaster's going to do? They're going to go, damn, Taylor Swift has this many monthly listeners across all of the big sites. She gets this many sales. We're just going to up the price for anyone in this range.
Yeah, literally.
We're going to take a bigger cut. And then you screw over the small bands.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone complains of like, oh, why are there no small bands? Like, why are there no small pop artists?
Yeah.
And it's like, because it's so painfully hard to break into it. Like, I think at least with like metal, you do have this more camaraderie with it, where they do bring up smaller bands.
Yeah, I think.
But then but it's like, you're spending this money, they are just going to up the standard pricing.
Yeah.
Or they're going to take a bigger cut. Bands already make no money. Like, obviously, this is kind of what I do, the whole band side of it, like tech. But like with small bands doing club tours, most of the money they make from tickets, they don't make, actually. Yeah. They make very little money. Most of it will go to, like, a good portion will go to whoever's selling the tickets.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go on the venue. It's going to go on crew costs. It's going to go on equipment hire. So you're now down by a massive amount just on tickets. They make most of their money on merch. Exactly. So if you love Taylor Swift that much, buy her merch.
Yeah.
Buy her albums.
$5 grand on merch.
Listen to them on, I think it's Tidal. It's either Tidal or Deezer that pay their musicians well.
Yes, it's at least double or triple what Spotify and all these use.
And like, don't get me wrong, I do listen with Spotify. You know, it's convenient for me. I've had it for years. I can't be bothered to go through the effort of getting all my liked songs back.
Yeah.
Like, if you love this band so much, support them.
Well, yeah,
don't fall into this trap of spending $56,000 on a ticket, supposing that got sold.
But it's going to price everyone else that can't get that sort of money together out of the market.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't now be a poor Taylor Swift fan and want to see her live, it's just not going to work. Yeah,
it's already hard enough.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just for myself, like, I've been listening to Redacted since it had like 10K monthly listeners. I go way back. And they now have like 200,000. So obviously I love that. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
But just in time I've been listening to them, I've noticed how much harder it is to like get merch or get, you know, the special editions of their albums, get tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty easy getting tickets because they're like, I think I spent 30 quid to see them in January.
Yeah.
You know, I'm fine paying 30 quid for that. But like you said, you're just going to price out everyone else. And that's not right. It's not fair.
It's not.
It's kind of scummy.
Yeah.
If you're going to stoop to such lows of bowing to the scalpers. It's why PCs got like annihilated during lockdown because everyone's doing crypto mining. Everyone was spending a gazillion pounds on graphics cards, and it screwed everyone else over. And it still was having its effects now, even though that issue's kind of solved itself. You will just screw over everyone else. Like, I know I'm saying that, like, I know I've said I'd sell everything I have. It's like, go watch that Creed, thing, and how much I would happily spend to go see Redacted. But like at the same time, to not go too deep into how much I've spent on them, I've spent a lot of money on their merch.
Yeah.
Like probably too much money, but a lot of money because I love that band and I would happily support them.
Yeah, exactly.
There are good ways to support your musician. Don't stoop to the lows that Ticketmaster is handing you.
100%.
Like I said, they are 99.8% accountable for this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so dumb to watch this happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it does get to the extent where, they do start upping prices, I won't be affected as much. Like, here in the UK, it's not as bad.
No. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet, not until Taylor Swift announced a tour in Europe.
Yeah.
Then we're all screwed. But I think there's a level that musicians need to start doing something themselves.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
When I saw While She Sleeps, Parkway Drive, and La Shore, I think tickets for like 45 quid. And that was an arena.
Exactly.
My Pierce the Veil tickets, 30 quid.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Biffy was just over 50.
Mm.
And again, I think, and it's definitely not all rock bands, but I think generally rock bands have accepted that, like you say, they're not going to make money off touring.
Yeah.
You have
and some do.
Yeah, of course. But like you have this big production team and 4 to friggin' 9 members of the band to split all this money between. They're not going to make that. So I think a fair few of the bands are probably just trying to keep the tickets as low as possible so that they can get more people down and get them to buy merch.
Yeah.
Which I think it's unfortunate, but it seems to at least be working a little bit.
Yeah, it's just right. Like I've said, someone in Taylor Swift's camp said yes to the sort of flexible pricing based upon interest. And you just got to say no to that. Like, I understand how tempting that must be because there's money. Who doesn't want money?
Yeah.
But at the same time, respectfully, T Swift doesn't need that money. Are you telling me, she's still living in a little condo?
Yeah.
No. She banged and she continues to. And I'm not against that, dude. She is, whether you like her or not, a phenomenal musician.
Yeah.
Incredible songwriter who keeps working to improve her craft. But like, come on. You don't, it should never get to a point with, what was that price you said? 4K?
I think so, yeah. I think that was the highest.
And that's on Ticketmaster itself, which obviously scalpers are just going to see that and go, right, well, Ticketmaster itself is selling it for this, so I'm just going to get away with selling it for this. And it works. Like, I guarantee you, people bought those tickets.
Oh, 100%.
And sure, everyone's complaining, but I guarantee half the people that are complaining are the people who didn't get to those tickets.
Yeah. But then, on top of all of this, obviously, I read the US government are also investigating into all this because of, I think they're looking into gross misconduct or abuse of power or something along those lines.
But then also the potentially like monopolization on ticketing.
Yeah, exactly. But do you think it's going to work? Or if so, anytime soon, I can see this investigation going on for years at this point.
Right. At this point, I'm old enough to understand the world is just evil. I don't think it will work. I think it might. Maybe with the monopolization.
Yeah, I think.
But time and time again, you just see lobbying power and money
Yeah, but
being
then
what takes control.
even if they find them guilty of monopolization, like, where do you go from here? Do you? It's not like
Well, they can basically tell them they have to split.
true.
It's happened before. But I don't see it massively working because why wouldn't Live Nation just go, oh, we're also doing this flexible pricing?
Yeah,
And then if they still have close business ties, you're still screwed.
exactly.
I personally, I think the only way it's going to change is if members of the public, people who want to go see these bands don't bow to the prices.
Yeah,
This is going to hurt your musicians. It's going to hurt the people you love
it's
to see.
It's either
But
that or are the are artists at a point, like, financially or whatever, where they could say no to Ticketmaster, where they could say no to Live Nation and kind of find someone else to sell the tickets through. Like, I know obviously it's an issue because of how close ties these companies have with the vast majority of the venues that they sell for,
yeah.
but there must be a way around it.
Oh, yeah. Like, I think it will start with saying no to the flexible pricing.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. It's a sticky one, to be honest.
Yeah, it's hard because everyone knows that something needs to be done about it, but it's
But I
just so
think
hard
time and time again,
to get anything done.
nothing gets done until someone takes a stand on it.
Yeah, and like we were saying the other week, it's nice that bands like Rammstein are trying to take a stand against the touts,
Yeah.
and I think that if more artists do that, it would be a big blow. But then is this whole dynamic pricing just going to get even worse?
Yeah.
Oh, Ticketmaster just going to find a new way to continue to make money.
Just up the default price.
Exactly, because they're not getting that bonus second service charge.
Yeah. I feel like only time will tell at this point.
Mm. But yeah, I can't see it being for at least a couple of years. You know
Yeah.
how kind of long-winded these investigations are.
We'll do a podcast in 5 years. We'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah. So Max, what are you listening to?
Oh, what aren't I listening to? Obviously the band I've been banned from talking about.
Yes.
Still listening to them. You gotta this is your first time. You gotta hunt down which band that is.
To be fair, Charlotte is not here, so
I could, yeah, that's
name drop
true.
them.
Sleep Token, listen to Sleep Token, they're
God,
amazing.
you're not allowed to say them.
Sorry. I've been listening to a lot of stuff. I don't really know how I'm going to describe it. There's a guy called Q. It's like, that whole like sad kind of indie, like a lot more emotional kind of stuff.
Yeah, the kind of more US based, like Cold War Kids, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Been listening to stuff like that. There's a guy called Q. Got a song called Stereo Driver, which like it's quite a rich voice, but it's like almost harking back to like 70s, 80s kind of pop, fun stuff, but still being quite emotional.
Cool.
Guy called David. He's good fun. But I think those are the only two that are somewhat new to my Spotify that I've been listening to. Probably my most listened to song at the moment would be When Everything Means Nothing by Fit for a King, the one from Dark Skies.
Oh, yeah.
Good song.
It is a good song. Yeah, I still don't know how good that new album is either.
Oh, yeah, the new album's insane. But what about you? What have you been listening to?
So I was not at all prepared for this week. So I've got up my Spotter stats, and you and everyone else at home is going to hate me because my top artist of the last 4 weeks is Nickelback.
I do hate you.
It's also for review purposes, I must admit. We're doing the new album that just dropped 4 days ago, but still.
Let me open up my Spotter stats. Let's see if I just lied about what I've listened to most.
But I've got Nickelback, Iceland Kills is always up there. Epica, the new Epica.
Oh yeah,
is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
He did like a guest artist one. I can't remember what it's called. Something to do with alchemy. But every track on there is phenomenal. And it was cool that they got kind of a bit more death metal influence in there. I think they did one with Flesh God Apocalypse, which was amazing. Like to get some more kind of growling in there.
Yeah. Okay. That's my most recent listen to. Got the joys of getting an ad. I'm not paying for the ad-free Spotter stats.
I do not either.
Oh, okay, so my top tracks of the last 4 weeks have been Romantic Homicide by David. It's a good song.
Nice.
The entirety of the new Dayseeker album, going from 2 with Parallel apparently being my most listened to out of all that.
Nice.
Must say, I thought it would have been Paper Heart or Crying While You're Dancing. Going to 12. The 13th song is When Everything Means Nothing by Fit for a King. Artist-wise, though, top 3, Dayseeker, Sleep Token, and Pale Dusk.
Nice.
Yeah, what's your top 3 artists? That's a fun one.
Whatever, or are we doing...
over the past 4 weeks.
4 weeks. So it's Nickelback, Iceland Kills, and Shinedown. So it's a bit of a spread. It's not bad.
Ooh. I'm trying to let it load to see who my lifetime most listened to artist is. And if it's not Sleep... it's Sleep Token. Of course it's Sleep Token.
Mine is Iceland Kills, which...
Really? Wow.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think I've had this Spotify account for all too long. I think I'm talking about 3 years.
Oh, I've had mine for like 5 years.
Yeah. I think I reset it when I got the joint one or whatever. Cadillac 3 number 2 is also surprising, but I do love that band.
Who was it?
The Cadillac 3.
Ah, nice. Is that your number 2?
Yes.
Mine's A Day to Remember.
Oh, nice.
And then one for anyone who has good music taste, Coheed and Cambria is my 3rd most listened to.
Good band.
Phenomenal band. Really want to see them.
Yeah, they did a tour over here not long back. I literally saw it advertised the night that they were playing in like Birmingham or Nottingham or something. I was devastated.
I'm slightly concerned that Dayseeker is already my 11th most listened to band, and I've been listening to Dayseeker for maybe 4 months now.
That is impressive.
I should probably show you how much I've listened to them. Nice. I'd be interested to see what Charlotte's most listened to band is.
Maybe I'll have to get it to voice record and we'll just drop it in.
Yeah. Oh, you'll never guess my most listened to song of all time. It's not even a Sleep Token one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know. Telomeres by Sleep Token is number 2, though.
Oh, that's
yeah. It's You Are We by While She Sleeps.
Oh, good song.
It's from all the times I've been playing the lead on guitar, and I'll listen to the song whilst playing it.
That's fair.
It is slightly shocking to see how many Sleep Token songs are in my top 20. It's over half of them.
Yeah.
If another band comes along and just does Sleep Token stuff as well, I'll listen to you.
Yes. Nice endorsement there.
Exactly. I'll review all your music.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm here trying to convince myself that I'm not just a massive country junkie. But then,
you are, though.
My top track Must Be the Whiskey by Cody Jinks.
I'm trying to look at mine. I'm trying to convince myself I'm happy. I've got Telomeres, then Daylily, by Movements, which is a phenomenal song talking about depression.
Nice.
Bulls and the Brogues, which I guess isn't sad at all. The Consequence by the Not Twist. Sure, a German, like, I guess kind of synth pop kind of band.
Okay.
It was in a film called Push, which is one of the reasons why Chris Evans got Captain America.
Oh,
Really
cool.
good film, cult film, I guess. Then Night Does Not Belong to God, Missing Limbs, Mine, which are all Sleep Token from 6 to 8. Alleviate by Imminence, which is just not a happy song.
No.
And then in number
That.
10, quite possibly the most depressing song I've ever heard, Eiley by Too Close to Touch. But yeah, lot of happy songs on the top 10.
Yeah, mine's pretty. There's a little happier stuff, but then there's a lot of Streetlight Manifesto
Yeah.
as well. A lot of Ice on Kills.
Ice on Kills are good. I support you on that.
Limp Bizkit's crept in my top 5.
Really?
Stuck though, so it's at least like old Limp Bizkit that all the gatekeepers accept, as opposed to like anything off Chocolate Starfish.
Hey, Golden Cobra is a banging song, and I refuse to believe otherwise. It's like my brother and I had a conversation that Creed is amazing. With Arms Wide Open is one of the best songs ever written, and I will happily die on this hill.
I agree.
That just his voice, it's so good, and I love annoying all of like the gatekeepers with that opinion. It's like he compared himself to Jesus, and I'm like, dude, with that voice, I would too.
Yeah, right.
He may not be able to speak English properly, but damn, is he good.
I think it was a couple of weeks ago now that after Mick Mars left Motley Crue and got replaced by John Five, that apparently Vince Neil was going to leave and get replaced by the guy from Creed.
That would be stunning.
How amazing would that be?
Every show. I would sell everything I own to just follow them on a tour.
Yep.
That would be amazing.
Don't even know if it'd work, but I really just want to hear Scott Stapp do a Motley Crue song now.
I'm trying to think of the funniest Motley Crue song for him to do. Oh, there's
something
so many.
Higher pitch, right?
Yeah.
Like Live Wire or yeah.
Oh, there's so many that would just be beautiful to hear him sing.
I think we should petition to get
I think
even just a special guest or something.
I think they should do like a live show, like a stripped show. So, we get some Creed here with like the acoustic guitars, but it's all just him singing.
Yes.
And I think that would just be the best music I've ever heard.
Or we should get Creed to be the support for the Leopard, so that he can come out and do a song with them.
I mean, I just love the whole like weird combinations of bands.
Yeah.
Like so I'm seeing Sleep Token in January, obviously.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean the band I'm not allowed to name.
Yeah. Name redacted.
yeah, we're just gonna put a bleep over that. And they're being supported by Northlane.
Oh,
I think that's sick.
Yeah.
But then it's like I'd love to see like Lorna Shore support like I don't know, Shawn Mendes. just the absolute whiplash you would receive. We'll have to revisit this topic. All three of us need to write our weirdest combinations.
Do like a festival day.
Oh, the best festival ever.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
So for this week's big topic, after the AMAs last night at the time of recording, and with the recent Grammy nomination announcements, we kind of just wanted to talk about if and why these big mainstream award shows don't seem to like rock and metal very much. Like, taking a look at last year's nominations and winners even, if you look at the Best Rock Album nominations...
You got Power Up, AC/DC, that was 2020.
Yeah.
Foo Fighters, Medicine at Midnight was the start of last year. Obviously, Chris Cornell's is a greatest hits album
Yeah.
Like there has been a hell of a lot of good rock albums that have come out in the last 12 months, but they're snubbing it for stuff that's either older or has been out for years and is just a compilation.
Well, then it's like the best metal performance. You've got Genesis by Deftones, The Alien by Dream Theater, Amazonia by Gojira, Pushing the Tides by Mastodon, and The Triumph of King Freak by Rob Zombie. And it's like, I wouldn't say any of them are bad, but it's kind of like for the best metal, with no disrespect to Deftones or Dream Theater, there's a plethora more.
Oh, 100%.
And I get they do have to cut it down, but still.
But
Right.
yeah, like I don't really get why they never, with all the kind of trends in recent years of, how big Spirit Box and Lorna Shore and all that kind of thing
Well, that's the
get
thing.
in the
Just
scene.
this,
Why would they not jump on that?
yeah, like just this year alone, you've had Lorna Shore blow up massively. Obviously, to the Hellfire really like brought them to everyone's attention who weren't really into like deathcore.
Mm.
But like Pain Remains is an incredibly good album, and I haven't seen anything but really good reviews for their performances of it.
Yeah, same here. I mean, you saw
I
them
know,
do this
yeah,
Scott
like
Parkway, right?
yeah, with the Parkway, they're amazing. They didn't do anything from Pain. Well, they didn't do any of like the new songs on Pain Remains. They did some of the singles, um, but they were amazing. Then obviously, like While She Sleeps didn't release anything new
No, true.
for it, but they were amazing. And then like what Bad Omens, they've blown up massively on like
Yeah,
TikTok and like all of that recently. Not to in any way insinuate they weren't already big, but their tour that they've been doing with Dayseeker is has been incredibly well reviewed.
yeah. I've seen nothing but praise for it.
So it's I don't know, having such like I'm sure in and of itself all of those performances were amazing.
Hmm.
Having just them where I feel like aside from Gojira and maybe Mastodon, it's pretty like general well-known ones. I mean, even Mastodon are very well known.
Yeah,
And obviously there's nothing to say that like just because you're well known you can't have performance of the year. It's just kind of like there's so much more, and it does feel like there is still this quite persistent thing of like minimizing anything that might be a little distasteful in terms of heaviness. I mean, it's
yeah,
good to see
definitely.
Gojira and Rob Zombie on there. I mean, Rob Zombie's just fun, so I'm not surprised that was nominated.
Yeah, he's pretty
Gojira,
good live as well. So I get
oh
the
yeah,
the performance side of it definitely.
and Gojira are phenomenal as always. But then, like, I mean, Rammstein were on tour this year,
Exactly.
and I mean, they're always amazing. So I don't know. It's difficult to say without feeling like I'm minimizing the success of um, any of the others.
Hmm.
But it does feel like so much is ignored
No,
because then
yeah,
like even with like the when they don't even have a best metal song as far as I can see.
no, I don't think they do.
Yeah, it's just the best rock song. It's like the fact that on the best rock performances, that is also like not an amazing list.
No, and
The
then
fact that some of it isn't new or was released this year, it's kind of like, don't know.
yeah, it definitely doesn't sit very well. And then again, you've just got to only look. I think it was just last night the American Music Awards. Um,
Mm.
and you've got rock album fair is Ghost Impera, which it's
Yeah,
grown on me. Like it's not bad. Um, but then you've got the likes of Coldplay and Machine Gun Kelly and Imagine Dragons. up on there. When
Yeah.
again, you know, I
I do
wouldn't say
think,
Machine Gun Kelly isn't rock at this point. It's
yeah, I
still
do think we have to be careful to not sound
something.
like we're gatekeeping,
Hmm,
but at the same time, it's like one of those of like, it feels like instead of doing what they do with other genres, where I think to certain people you can group like, indie in with pop, you can group R&B or at least certain types of that in with pop, some rap in with it.
hmm,
And also, I'm completely against that because I think they are and should be recognized as their own genre. The fact that the same doesn't quite seem to be done for anything heavier. But
exactly.
then I do think I know why. It's so much money, isn't it? Like I think like a dedicated like rock slash metal outlet will do like, best deathcore song of the year.
Yeah, true.
Um, but then for the Grammys, I don't think they care because they need that publicity of it. And I think especially I mean, it's not even just like, uh the metal side of it. You have a lot of like even just like rap and R&B artists just not really liking award ceremonies like that, where they kind of minimize anything that doesn't agree with them.
Hmm.
And it's like they'll make the whole argue against bands like Cannibal Corpse, and Infant Annihilator,
Hmm.
being, not in line with stuff like that they like, being quite
Yeah, I mean, I get kind of.
far. And I understand it to an extent, but then like I think you just need to listen to like Montero, which is a good album, the Lil Nas one.
Hmm.
Stand by that one was quite fun. Then like listen to Donda,
Yeah,
like Planet Her, the Doja Cat one. These are all in the album of the year, and it's not like they're PG albums. There's a lot of sexualized content, a lot of more grown up themes to it. And whilst I'm not trying to say we should just start cutting music off from any recognition because it actually talks about stuff, I
hmm.
think it should be the same playing field for everything. I don't think you should be giving certain genres an advantage purely because they make more money. And
Exactly.
whilst I recognize it is probably just the money, like I think more people are going to go to the Grammys if like Taylor Swift gets nominated like she was.
Hmm.
Her fans are going to go in droves and watch that, right?
Oh yeah,
Or
you'd
be
imagine so.
talking about it constantly. Whereas I think, at least in my experience, there's much more of a sort of, I wouldn't say they don't care, but it's never felt as like important in like the metal scene to have like a Grammy. Obviously, it's still important, but I don't
Yeah,
think anyone really
it's
gets too sad about it
it's kind
because
of
I
gone
think
the same
everyone
way as
roots.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nomination these days. Like it's been so watered down through people who, at least the masses of the rock and metal community, don't agree with winning it. You know, there's always the
Well, yeah,
example of Jethro Tull beating Metallica to best metal album or best metal performance or whatever it was back in the day.
yeah.
That
And in
everyone's kind of
hindsight,
gone,
maybe that is
okay.
not. In hindsight, maybe that is not as egregious as it was spoken about, but I still disagree with it.
Hmm.
Um, but no, I completely agree. There is just this sort of, I wouldn't say it's like a disdain, but I just don't think anyone really cares as much.
No,
Um,
exactly.
Although I would say, like, from my experience, both working with bands, playing music myself, to have recognition like that from something that has come into a form where it is like institutionally the way you recognize music.
Hmm.
Like the Grammys, maybe not so much anymore, but you go back 5, 10 years, and having a Grammy was like
Oh, it's
having a
massive.
crown on top of your throne. Like
You
it
know,
was
you still have
amazing.
Megadeth, Metallica, all them bands would literally, print it on the front of their album as the sticker, on the front, like, oh,
Well, yeah,
this song won a Grammy.
yeah, exactly. And it is quite quite frustrating to me that like they just don't really get the same recognition because they are amazing, as we've spoken about in like the album reviews every Monday. Like, I'm not saying every one I've reviewed is like deserving of a Grammy. I think, we review a plethora, some that are really good, and I do believe should win like a sort of, I guess, like a newcomer
Yes, yeah,
album. But then, like, like we've been talking about some stuff we have planned for the end of the year, and you've got like, obviously for myself, the Lorna Shore album was
yeah.
amazing. There's not a single song on that I would remove from it. You have Dayseeker's album. I mean, I really enjoyed Psy.
Yeah,
The
that was great.
I can never remember how to pronounce their name. I'm not going to try in case I offend anyone. But then like the Machine Head album,
Oh, yeah, that was.
for a band that I
Yeah.
haven't listened to since I was maybe 8, 10 years old.
Mm.
That was phenomenal. The Shinedown album.
Yeah, again, really, really
Insane.
good.
And then like even just like Muse and Fit for a King. Like
Mm.
I don't know how highly I'd rate them. I mean, the Muse one and Fit for a King I have listened to a lot recently, so I'd probably put them pretty high.
Mm.
But they're really good albums.
Yeah, I mean, Muse is always one that gets recognition. I know it's got, well, probably slightly controversially, is one of the tracks is nominated for Best Metal Performance, which, I mean,
Which one?
Kill or Be Killed. I think it's the one with the breakdown.
Okay.
So,
I
I
do
would
have
go
an
as far as
opinion
to
on
say
that.
metal.
I think if it was like, okay, he is the punching bag for it, but MTK, if he was like nominated for like, a song from I think it was Tickets to My Downfall was one that came out a few years ago. That's the last one I like
Yeah.
actually listened to. I think I gave up on the other one.
Yeah, I think I tried to review it and it was not good.
Yeah, I think we both did. I think we both tried to have a go and we are just like, no. But then like if a song from Tickets to My Downfall, like the one with Halsey, Forget Me To,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, it's got a bit of guitar in there. If
Yeah,
that was
it's not a bad song
nominated,
at all.
no, completely. I do think that was actually the highlight of the album as well.
Yes,
That might be because I love Halsey's voice, but like if that got nominated for Metal Song of the Year, I'd be up in arms. Like it's completely stupid. I think Muse, I think they have bordered on metal quite a lot. Like,
yeah, definitely over the years. Like, I know they obviously take gaps with the last album and Second Law and that kind of thing, but like, there's enough metal in their back catalogue. Like, they've done a massively heavy set of downloads the other year.
yeah, well, exactly. And then I'm not saying it's like, deathcore levels of metal, but like you go back to like some of their early albums, you've got like even Plug-in Baby has enough musical similarities to metal.
Oh, 100%.
But if someone put that in a metal list, I'd be like, fair game. Trying to think of some of the other ones. Hysteria.
Yeah.
Phenomenal song. I'd pass that off as metal if someone said. I'd be like, cool. I don't think I'd necessarily put it in that list myself.
No, but
like,
again, that's probably more because there's so many other amazing metal performances more than anything.
Yeah, but then like Kill or Be Killed has a legitimate breakdown in it. Like, sure, it's not like Error with their breakdowns, but it's still a breakdown. Like, would you class Architects, not their most recent album, the one before, the
I can't remember what it's called.
The one after. Yeah, right. Would you class that as metal?
On it.
Yeah. Would you class that as metal?
I'd say so, yeah.
Because I'd still class that as metal. But then how different is that from Kill or Be Killed?
Exactly. I wouldn't say there's much in it at all.
I don't think there's a massive difference. To be honest, I'd argue the breakdown or Kill or Be Killed is more metal than some of the Architect songs.
Yeah,
There's nothing
yeah,
against
100%.
Architects. I think, yes, that album is not a metal album. That is just a quite quintessential Muse album.
Yeah, there's a couple of heavy tracks on there. There's a couple of, almost synth pop things.
Well, this is Halloween, the Halloween one.
Yeah.
I can't actually remember what it's called. The Halloween one, though, is such a fun synth-driven song.
Yeah, like the Muse are always going to do whatever they want, and they've got such a fan base.
It's Muse. When have they not just turned around and been like, yeah, we're just going to do this? And like, they always do it. They don't care. They just do what they enjoy doing. If they got nominated for it as a metal album of the year, yeah, it would be stupid. But like, metal song, yeah, why not? Like, did they win it? Did they get nominated?
I think it was just a nomination. I think the next Grammys are April. I want to say March time.
Yeah. Oh, so they've been nominated for the next one. Yeah. Maybe then that's why there's like a lack of some of the more recent stuff. And even like when did the Fit for a King album come out?
I want to say around September time, October.
Because I don't remember the Taylor Swift album coming out that long ago.
No, true. Yeah, it's within the last month, right?
That came out on the 21st of October. So a month ago at the time we were recording this, the Fit for a King album came out the 28th. So 7 days in between them. But Fit for a King's nowhere on there.
It's weird, isn't it?
Like, it just feels like... But then, like, the Lorna Shore album, Pain Remains, right? Guess when that came out?
Oh, it's definitely a couple of months ago now, right?
That was a week before the Taylor Swift one. That came out on the 14th.
Yeah. So
it's like... It's not like they couldn't if they put the Taylor Swift one in there. There is 100%. Definitively time to put in the Pain Remains one. I don't really get how they're doing it. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's so much.
Guess they must have to, I don't know, vote on it maybe September time. But then if they're voting on it in September and then the thing's all the way in April, like, surely there must be an easier way of getting this new music in. So another quick talking point, how do you feel about best metal performance and best song going to the same Turnstile song?
Oh, here's something. Right, so just before we get on to that, apparently it's not necessarily this year's one. I'm trying to find out when this article came out. Just to make sure we haven't waffled.
Yeah, I've got Grammy nominations 2023 at least. So I assume what we started on was last year's winners.
We might well have done. But even then, like, the winners of that, dumb.
Yeah, like, even still, like, we had albums that had come out early 2020 winning it over a year later.
Yeah, we were completely off the mark. We were just talking about the 2020, 2021 one. Because they do it in like a stupid order. Basically, they release the nominees list. Now, it then gets recorded in February every year. That's the weird order we've got.
Oh, okay.
But then, I mean, like, with what we were talking about, with like metal of the year, like, if I find that, like, if I scroll my way down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the most reliable source of all time, the Huffington Post.
I am on the Grammys website, so...
But man, right. I have to scroll far to get to the rock and metal song.
So yeah, performance-wise, we've got Call Me Little Sunshine by Ghost, which...
Yeah, I wouldn't say metal.
I don't know what I can say without just definitely angering a bunch of people.
No, I know.
Ghost are like kind of gothy cult rock. I think go back to like Meloria or Melora, however it's pronounced.
Yeah,
I think it's Meloria. Yes, metal, like Square Hammer, Sirisi,
100%.
Or however you pronounce that. Their latest album, I don't know.
It's a
But
lot more.
sure, we'll stick that on the
Yeah.
list. But then, like, Kill or Be Killed, sure, I agree with that. I agree with the Megadeth, and well, to be fair, I agree with the rest of them. But it's just that Ghost one that I feel like they've been nominated now, and so let's just say that they are able to go to the most recent stuff. And it just kind of feels like they've ignored it. But I can't find anything that says like the period in which between they're allowed to choose to nominate for. But then like you don't have the Taylor Swift one on there for album of the year.
Is it
So
not?
surely it has to be backwards quite a bit. But it just feels like such an odd collection.
Yeah, 100%.
For any of like the rock and metal stuff. Like they've got Manskin as like best new artist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Like,
not the biggest
sure,
fan, but it's nice.
sure, but it's like they're not a new artist. Like
No.
there has to be like a sort of best by date on new artist. If
Yeah,
it
I
was
mean,
like,
even if it's just, been around a couple of years or just done their first album,
yeah, if it was like, I don't know, maybe fastest rising artists or new rising artists, sure, best new artist. Like they did Eurovision, so sure, maybe for the States they're a bit of a new artist, but like I don't know, like they're not bad, and I do think they deserve recognition, but like I don't know, it feels a little odd having them as like best new artist, especially when, and forgive me for not remembering their name, I haven't seen Corey Taylor's Sons Band on like any best new artist, best new band list, and they are
Bendis.
mental. Yeah, that's it. They're mental.
Yeah,
Like
that's fantastic.
a genuinely great band.
But yeah,
Then
it's
like
an odd one, man. Like you've
yeah,
got Brandy Carlisle, who is very much a country artist in best rock song, and
yeah,
like I was saying earlier, the same Turnstile song that got best metal performance is nominated for best rock song.
yeah, and obviously mainstream sellout by Machine Gun Kelly is on the list. And remember, their grading system for best rock album is for albums containing greater than 50% playing time of new rock, hard rock, or metal recordings. And that's just a bunch of crap, to be honest. Like, I don't want to gatekeep. But surely there has to be a level of where you accept something is rock and something is not.
Yeah.
But then also you're saying best. Like, I don't remember seeing like any good reviews
No.
for mainstream sellout.
I've heard
Audience rating, it's got like a 4.4. Okay, the NME gave it a 4. But then Metacritic, Punk News, like Metacritic gave it 55%, where 1 out of 11 critics gave it a positive. 9 out of the 11 gave it mixed, and 1 gave it a negative. Like I said, Punk News, they gave it a 2 out of 10. Rolling Stones, I don't know if do they normally give it out of 5 stars on Rolling Stones?
I want to say yeah. I can't remember the last time I read a review from them, to be perfectly honest.
Let me quickly. Yeah, I haven't read any in a hot minute from them. Let me pull one up. That one just doesn't have any stars on it.
It's just that bad.
The Machine Gun Kelly one's got 2.5 stars on the album thing. And like the tagline of it is his buzzsaw bubblegum can be entertaining, but he needs to realize that introspective songwriting is more than just yelling about how much you suck.
That's
And yeah, like I completely agree. Like,
yeah. I mean,
so
it feels
it's not a well-reviewed album.
no. It feels more like they're putting Machine Gun Kelly, because I'm pretty sure he won at least a couple for Ticket to My Downfall as well, which, like we said, was a better album. But it still had a lot of people up in arms that he'd kind of gone into the rock genre. And it just feels like they're more putting it in there as like oh look, we'll get some reaction from this.
We'll get the alt teens to listen to it. But then like, right, if you for Tickets to My Downfall, okay, once again, like we've mentioned, didn't get insane reviews. NME gave it a 4 out of 5. Metacritic gave it 72%. Then to go back to Rolling Stones as sort of our point of reference, I guess, they gave it a 3.5.
Yeah.
And the tagline for that was Blink-182's Travis Barker helps the Cleveland rapper find a new punk sound. And
So,
yeah, like completely. Tickets to My Downfall, I think out of like, if you compare mainstream Sellout and that, like definitely more in line with the whole sort of Blink kind of punk stuff. And that was a much more enjoyable album. I think I got through that album. But then to have it on the same list as an Idols album,
it's weird.
And an Aussie album just doesn't sit right with me. Like, I think it does just feel like, oh, we'll get reaction clicks from this. We'll get like people talking about the Grammys again.
Like, yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think it's more people don't care about the Grammys anymore, so we're just gonna cause as much controversy in this category as we can, because it always gets talked about every year. All the metalheads and all this will pretend that they don't care and all this, but they'll still happily, we're talking about it right now.
Yeah, and I guess we are kind of the whole evil they are hoping for. Like, we are discussing how completely like backward stuff like this is, but then by virtue we are bringing attention to their list.
Yeah, but then at the same time, if they did just put out a selection of 5, 6, however many they want to nominate, really good metal albums and really good rock albums that have been well received by the rock and metal press, I imagine we'd all still be talking about it.
Yeah, it's just like a lot of like, when you got a category for best children's music album and you don't have any real consideration for like rock music beyond rock. Oh, and I guess metal exists, kind of.
Like, there's no best metal album, there's no best metal song. We get best metal performance with a few rock songs kind of shoehorned
and
into
then,
it.
Well, that's the thing. Rock fits into it, but then metal just gets slotted in by their own by their own description. They just slot metal in with the rest of it. And I think the thing that annoys me most about it, and it's not to in any way seem like I'm against jazz. I love jazz. You have best improvised jazz solo, best jazz vocal album, best jazz instrumental album, best large jazz ensemble album, best Latin jazz. So clearly they recognize there's like contemporary differences between it.
Yeah.
They have from 37 to 41 being the last is all gospel or contemporary Christian music.
Yeah.
Again, you go with your music. I think all music deserves recognition.
So yeah, my kind of question to finish out with the whole awards thing would be like, do you think rock and metal could do with their own? I know obviously Metal Hammer at least used to do one. Hard Rock Hell do their own kind of version of it, but there's no kind of massive mainstream version of this.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. I think it would be important for a lot more recognition, but then I still think we end up with the same issue. and I don't think we'll ever fix that issue. It's not me trying to be nihilistic, but the whole issue is not about whether there is anything to recognize the sheer talent and work of metal and all of the subgenres and other genres within. I think the issue ultimately just comes down to everyone wants a bit of mainstream recognition because it comes with money and it comes with publicity, which equally means more money. And I think maybe not everyone, but for the majority of musicians, they're making music because one, obviously they love it and they are talented enough to do so, but also because they want people to hear their work. Yeah. So I think even if, I don't know, Rolling Stones, which is a very big company in terms of this kind of stuff, even if they start doing it, I don't think you'd ever get the desired outcome because I think ultimately the issues and the angst that comes to it is based upon the fact that the biggest award ceremonies for music don't really care about it.
Exactly. And I think that, as cool as it'd be to have, this big kind of thing that all the rock and metal world can be proud of, like a Grammys essentially for the genre, it's still not gonna, it's
fix it.
No, like the same people that watch the Grammys are not gonna watch whatever this would be called. The issue is more the fact that rock and metal is still not really in the mainstream as much these days as it was back in the past. And I know that back in the past it still wasn't recognized in the Grammys as much.
No.
But yeah,
still, it's just I don't think the issues will ever be properly solved until it starts getting recognition by things like the Grammys or the EMAs. But then I think, as disappointing it is for me to say, as someone who loves this type of music, I think as soon as it just opens the can to everything of
Yeah, and I mean, there's enough people in our kind of circle of rock and metal that, as soon as something is massive, it gets turned on. You've seen it with Metallica, with Slipknot, with Ghost, with Avenged Sevenfold. There's so many bands that are suddenly, fucking Nickelback.
As soon as a band gets that recognition, it sort of loses its shine to a lot of people.
It's odd because it's a lot of the same people that are wanting rock and metal to be bigger.
Yeah. And I think also, I was going to say, part of me is kind of glad a lot of metal and rock is kind of ignored because I do believe it ends up creating this much tighter community.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Especially as I know without a shadow of a doubt that despite the community of, rock and metal being so anti-gatekeeping and especially recently there's been big pushes by a lot of bands to just let anyone enjoy it. The whole thing with the Bad Omens song that's, blown up on TikTok. The thing was saying, cool, they can try and buy a ticket to come see the show if they want.
Exactly.
Or people walking out on the I Prevail, Pierce the Veil tour. It's cool, spend the money, man. If you want to go see it, go see it.
Yeah, 100%.
But then you do then have a lot of people who are so anti-gatekeeping who then turn around to Bad Omens, who turn around to Slipknot, Ghost, Metallica, countless others, as soon as a band gets big and just treat it like dirt.
Mm-hmm.
I think a big one is Bring Me the Horizon.
Oh yeah, especially
the album after the album after Sempiternal, was so turned on by people when it came out.
Yeah.
The only one that wasn't is Throne, and even then people hated it. But then it's such a counterintuitive thing of the same people that were against them turning to that never listened to them when they were a deathcore band.
Exactly.
But then the deathcore fans, a good portion of them, when Septernal came out, was like, oh, I miss the old Bring Me. Bring back the old Bring Me. And it's like, it feels like the whole genre is kind of on like this knife edge of like, either you get no recognition apart from your core group and you keep it there, or you are cast out by your old school fans for being successful.
Yeah, it's very hard to do both, and I'm yet to see a band that has successfully done that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that's equally loved.
Yeah, I can't really think of.
Because you can't even really say Ozzy, because Ozzy still got, he's still not exactly the most loved musician.
No, and he didn't exactly like. It's not like he turned away. It was more just the fact that he was such a kind of over the top personality and all that sort of stuff that he just kind of transcended the genre as opposed to what all these people would deem as selling out.
Yeah, and then like Guns N' Roses, they're a very iffy one onto whether they are truly loved. Obviously, it's a slightly different ballpark because they were rock. They still are. But then maybe you could take the stance that like it's Axl Rose.
Yeah, I think he's what turned people away from the band as opposed to the music itself.
But you could make the argument that Biffy Clyro are like, they're getting to that point where they are equally successful. But then it's one of those things of like the real sort of stance that people take is based upon the I guess the much more deeper genres of like deathcore, grindcore, like anything like that. Like they're the ones that seem to have all these battles and belligerentness to success, but also lack of success in terms of recognition. It's just, I think until the scene, like the genre as a whole, can become more open, I don't really foresee there being much of a fix.
No, 100%. But again, like we were talking about earlier, at least we are getting bands like Manskin and stuff like that who are, there's a few kind of artists that are slowly bringing more mainstream eyes onto the genre, but then I feel like we've kind of always had that.
Yeah.
Just a few years ago, Royal Blood were the next thing, and now, I mean, they've played arenas over here occasionally, but not too long ago they also did Rock City.
Yeah, but then like I think also like I think something that I think will help, and maybe not everyone will agree with me because I do think it's very frustrating at the same time. Is TikTok. You see songs blow up and gain such recognition just for the way they, sound to people, the way they affect people. And I think maybe TikTok does help, like bring people in.
Yeah.
People who
100%.
might view like metal, like especially Bad Omens with like, they've done like Dethrone and Artificial Suicide, which are very intense songs. I think it has brought people in and shown them like, hey, it's not all just like angry raw noises. It is also like very deep emotional music a lot of the time.
Yeah, 100. I mean, metal's been around for 50 plus years, and I still think there's a large portion of the mainstream world that doesn't really understand what constitutes as metal. They all just think, oh well, it's corpse paint and it's Cannibal Corpse and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, not really. Like you stick on a Metallica Black album or kind of middle of the range Slipknot or Korn or anything like that. Like people would probably find something to like out of it, regardless of what you're into.
I mean, like we mentioned earlier, Muse. They teeter on metal a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I think if Muse did a bit more metal, I think just the sheer like power Muse has and like the fact that people will listen to Muse, I think it does help.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. Maybe someone listening has the answer to it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a bigger topic to go into, kind of how we can help rock and metal be, bigger and more mainstream. And I don't think necessarily award shows are the answer, but I definitely think having more representation there would, it's not going to hurt it at all.
Yeah, quite.
Thank you for listening to the Overtone podcast. Join us next time when we talk about AI in the future of the music industry. Have a good day.